Okay, I'm back again to teach you how to use Microsoft Publisher. Um, we are going to be making a quotes poster for the Holocaust book that we've just completed in 7th grade. Before you can begin this poster project, you need to make sure that you have your quotes sheet done. It looks like this. You've got an important message here. You've got your quote, you've got your page number, and the significance of the quote. We'll be using that for this project. You need to make sure that, well, you're going to have this in front of you. These are your book quote project requirements, and that'll help us with what we need to make sure we remember to put in the poster. And you are going to need your actual book quotes. And I'm going to stop us for a minute because I don't have those open at the bottom of my screen. Hold on. Okay, and these are my book quotes. I have taken my quotes from this sheet and I have typed them onto a Word document. I have proper punctuation, this quotation mark here at the beginning of each quote. I've got a capital letter. I've got end punctuation at the end of my quote or end of sentence or sentences, might be more than one sentence. And then I have the page number on which the quote can be found in my book, and that's in parentheses at the end. Okay, so I'm going to keep that on my screen because I will be using that as well to make this poster. All right, my requirements sheet tells me that the first thing I need to do is open Publisher and select an 11 by 17 poster. So I'm going to go down to my lower left hand corner, Start menu, and select Microsoft Office Publisher. Might be found under Microsoft Office, and there's Publisher 2007. I'm using 2007 because that's what the computers in the Media Center have. If you have a newer version of Publisher, that will be great. You'll be able to do lots more with it if you play around with that newer version. But for here, most of us will be using 2007. Okay, so we want to select a blank page size. We want this one down here that says Tabloid Portrait 11 by 17. You could also use Landscape, but we're going to use the Portrait. So click it, double click it, it opens up for you. Next thing your requirements tell you to do is to change your margins to none. That's going to get rid of this blue line around the outer edge for us. To do that, we go under File, Page Setup, and along the left or the right here, we're going to change these to 0. When that's done, we click OK down here. Okay, so that got rid of the blue line. We now have no margins and we can go right up to the edge of our page. First thing that we are going to do is this part of the requirements where it says you have to include your title, your author, and an important message from the book that the author is trying to get across to you. So to do that, I'm going to insert a simple text box like that. I went under the Insert menu. I selected text box, and now, whoops, I unselected text box because I did it twice. There we go. Now this little plus symbol is going to allow me to draw a text box onto my page. I want to underline my title. My book was called Tangerine by Edward Bloor. And my important message was sometimes you don't want to see what's right in front of you. Now I can't see what I'm typing here. So what I would do is change on this View menu. I'm going to go to Zoom, and I can select 100%, and it will move my paper up, or it will give me a better view of what I'm looking at. Now I can fix this mistake. Okay, I kind of want to stick with the big picture though. I want to see my entire page and how this fits in. So I'm going to go back to View and Zoom and look at my whole page, but that's how you change that. Alright, so I have all of this. I know that I've edited. Now I want to fit this text into this big huge box. This is way too small. I want it to be bigger. I could just play around with my font sizes up here, but that could take me all day. An easier way to do it is go under Format, Auto Fit Text, and select the Best Fit option. That will move or change my text to the perfect size to fit inside of the text box that I've created. Now I also want my text to be centered. I want my message to be italicized. That's italicized. And I want my title to be bold. Okay, different things that you can change around with your font. Now this text box is kind of ugly. When I print it, actually even this dotted line is going to go away. These are some things that I can do with the text box. We don't have color ink in the Media Center, so if you are printing here, you will have to just work with shades of gray. This is and you can do a lot actually with just shades white, black, gray. I'm going to fill with this color. I'm going to change I put a line around my text box. I can change the thickness of the line around my text box with this one. Okay, that made the line a little bit thicker. Now, oops, this little A ... means that I got rid of some stuff in my box, so I need to make it just a little bit bigger. So those are different things that I can do with that. All right, next, also with this text box, if I wanted to turn it, I could do that. I don't think I want it to be centered and right in the middle of my paper. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is insert my picture that I have saved. And I think I forgot to tell you that in this version. I've taped this demonstration many times at this point. Ahead of time, before we started working on our poster, we went on to Google and we found our 4 images. In the requirements here, it says that you have to include 4 images in your project. So I'm going to go to Google Images. Let's say one of the images that I wanted to include was an image of spaghetti for whatever reason. Alright, there is some spaghetti that has something to do with my book. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to save the image as spaghetti. And now it is waiting for me on my computer for when I need it. There we go. Alright, so back to my poster. I'm ready to insert that image. I go Insert, Picture, from File, and I select that spaghetti picture. Insert. Okay, now, for some unknown reason, I'm sure there is a good reason, I just don't know what it is, this spaghetti, because it is in color, may not print when I'm printing from the Media Center. Sometimes it just leaves it blank, a color picture. It won't automatically put it into gray. So I want to change the color to grayscale. Okay, now this picture will print. Some of you are going to forget to do that, and when you go to print your picture, it'll just turn out blank, and you'll wonder why. It's because you didn't change to grayscale. Okay, there I am changing the direction of my picture. Okay. All right, ready to move on. I have to fit all 20 of these project quotes that I have typed out into my project. So I need to get started. First one, I'm going to highlight it, hit Control C for copy, or you can right click it and say copy. And go back to my poster here. Some fancy tricks for inserting your quotes to make them look like the sample poster that we saw in class. Most of them are under the Insert menu. Play around. One place to look is under Picture, Auto Shapes, Basic Shapes. Okay, here's a basic shape. It's going to allow me to draw there. I want to make my basic shape, I want to fill it with black. Okay, and I want to put some text in there. It's not giving me a text cursor. So for this particular shape, you have to also insert a text box like this. Okay, and now see I have my little blinking cursor there, so I can insert my text that I've already copied. So I'm going to right click and V, it didn't show up because my text is also black, like my fill color. So I'm going to highlight what I just inserted. It's there. I can tell it's there because it moved my cursor. And change that to white. Okay, rather than playing around with my font size here, I'm going to do it the easy way. Go under Auto Fit Text and Best Fit. That puts it in there nicely, and I want to center it to make it look neat. All right, now I don't like this white line that is around this text box, so I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say I want no line around my text box. Did it take it away? No. No line. So I don't know why it didn't take it away. Maybe it won't print. Okay, another trick. Let's go get another quote and copy it, Control C. Whoops. Go back to my poster and insert. This time, let's try to insert word art. This is a good one. Now, I don't use any of these fancy color ones because I can't print in color. So those either won't show up at all or they're going to show up in black and white. You can play around with it, try it. Maybe you could insert this and then change the color to black and white. That might work. Play around. Okay. I'm going to start with this one though because there's something neat that you can do with that. Insert my text, so I hit Control V and it inserts that quote. Okay, and it puts it, usually it puts it right smack in the middle of the page. Okay, lots of things you can do with this now. Change the size, change the direction with this green one. Whoops, I'm off the page though, so I gotta change it back. This yellow button will do different things with different types of word art. You sort of have to play around with it. With this particular word art, if I pull it down, it takes my, it takes my quote and sort of makes it circular. I must have overlapped something and I don't know what I did. So I'm going to use this handy tool right here. This is my undo. If I click this, it will undo the last thing that I just did. If I keep clicking it, it will undo the last 8 things that I just did. So that's a handy tool to have. When you hit a button and you don't know what you did, or you've messed something up so badly, there's no way to fix it, hit your undo button. It's very valuable. Okay, so there we go. See, it's kind of turned my quote into a circle. And I'm going to play with those handlebars in that yellow. I believe this is, well, I don't know what it's called. I think it's maybe a keystone. Okay, and I can kind of make that quote into a circle. Now see what it just did here? It bumped my tangerine over, and I didn't want it to do that. I just want it to overlap. I'm going to go back to this text box, and I'm going to go under Format, text box here, layout here, sorry. And I'm going to say I want no wrapping. And it didn't work. Okay, so for this, in this case, I guess I just have to move it out of the way. Okay, better. I like that better. Okay, word art. Let's try wrapping the word art. Text wrapping. Let's say none there. And that way, when we overlap, see now when we're overlapping here, it's just overlapping. It's not bumping tangerine out of the way. That's what I did. Okay. All right, another cool trick you can do, and I'm running out of time, so we got to make this fast. I'm going to go back and grab another quote. Control C. Go back to my poster. Insert a picture. This time I'm going to insert an auto shape, and I'm going to go all the way down here to more auto shapes. And on the left here, it will give me all of these cool ideas. So there, you might find some neat things in here to insert. Here's a light bulb. That's kind of cool. Now look, it's not giving me a blinking cursor anywhere. So if it won't give me the blinking cursor, I have to insert my own text box like this. Insert, text box, draw one in there. Control V to put my words in, and then I go under Format, Auto Fit, Best Fit. And I like to center in there. Okay? So lots of things to play around with. We're going to make sure that somewhere in here we've put our name on our paper. To print at the end, once you have